Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for this month's installment of our No Fail Friday webcast series. My name is Len Thompson, and I'm the lead community manager for the CA Mainframe security community. Before I hand things over to Paul for the presentation, just a reminder that if you have questions, please use the Q&A functionality within the WebEx. If you don't see a Q&A box in the lower right of your screen right now, please just click on the question mark icon in the upper right, and it will open for you. Once Paul is done with the presentation, we'll make sure that we answer your questions at the end. Thanks again, and now I'll hand over to you, Paul.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Roche. For those who don't know me, I'm the Director for Software Engineering at CA Technologies. The teams cover Top Secret and related products for security. So let's begin. What we're going to talk about is, in 20 minutes or less, I promise, is the what's new in Top Secret R16, and we'll get into the deep and dirty aspects of it. So we've got two programs. The R16 beta program completed in November, and for those who've been on with the product for years can remember the R15 beta or prior releases of Top Secret. The methodology changed dramatically since we've gone to agile. I think the customers that participated in the beta for R16 found it to be very rewarding, and hopefully they enjoyed the interaction between the team and them. So we had 8 months of continuous customer engagement. Features were refined as each customer that participated, we got consensus on. We held monthly end-of-sprint review calls where we did demonstrations of the enhancements. We also did dozens of active feature refinement calls. So the customers that were interested in specific enhancements that were built in R16 had the opportunity to input and guide and fine-tune how the feature was developed. We also gave the opportunity for the customers to engage with each other as well as the product teams. Customers, as I mentioned earlier, validated each feature. We averaged over 10 customer sites represented on the end-of-sprint review calls. The product teams and customers remained fresh throughout the beta because of that. Earlier releases, we did not have that engagement, and I think that the end result for the R16 has been just much more robust and tested release. And this really hammers that point home. The R16s for both ACF2 and Top Secret combined had over 35 unique customer sites, and 17 sites tested the betas. As you can see, we've expanded our coverage for areas of customers in the industries, and certainly compared to the R15s, we had a much greater turnout and participation. Okay, so we kind of labeled the R16 Top Secret release as well as ACF2 as the ideas release because the majority of enhancements were generated from the old DAR system, enhancement system, and also front-ended in with the community site ideas, which were viewable by customers. Certainly, you've seen a lot of interaction on our ideas site, and it allowed customers to discuss it and vote on them, which was really important. And that voting definitely weighed in heavily into the benefits of the release. Okay, I threw this slide up here because certainly they're not new to R16, but they were introduced post-GA. So we're not going to go into the major detail on these features, but certainly I want to stress that all of these features were fully tested and up to date on maintenance levels when we brought them forward into the R16 release. So we certainly had more than just new features that were introduced, and I want to make sure that you as customers are aware that they exist and are out there. Okay, so let's drill down to, we've grouped the releases or new features in the R16 release into essentially 3 separate areas. One is compliance is becoming more and more important. There certainly are NIST and STIG compliant recommendations and requirements, right? And we're staging, in effect, some of our enhancements will eventually be required by the STIG. May not currently be required today, but certainly the NIST requirement for encryption, for example, is there today. So we'll get into details on further slides on the enhancements, but certainly the AS256 was a very important step for the security products to take, since the DES certainly, and even the AS128 encryption level for storing passwords and passphrases is not at a acceptable level as far as NIST is concerned. Certainly the UID 0 limits on who can give out UID 0 is of concern for compliance. Certainly the STIG requirement exists on controlling that. And also, specific to the top secret product, our bypass list, having the ability to disable the top secret KICS bypass list adds a tremendous benefit for tightening down the who can access what via KICS. ZOS 2.2 support. We added ZOS 2.2 signing certificate that is supplied by IBM. That is in the top secret database already. We've also incorporated support for our password callable services that can be involved in TSO, KICS, and in KICS, for example, events under CTS, which were added by IBM Service Level RSU 1506, were certainly added in our support of our ZOS 2.2 support. And we've also added the ability to report on these callable services. The next category that we've kind of bundled things in is the ease of administration. As customers are moving forward in their implementation of the product, the expansion of the ACID size, the user ACID profile record size is needed and has been asked for. So we've actually delivered that. So now we support up to 1024K. It's a control option to decide whether or not you want to have that level available. We've also added the ability to store facility parameter definitions in the security file, which this was generated directly out of an active update on the ideas forum on our CA community site. So, okay, so let's dig into some of these enhancements. The KICS bypass processing. Certainly, we at R15 we had introduced the ability to add a +A to the transaction in the bypass list, which allowed you to run reports and see who is leveraging those transactions that have the +A, and can then do the authorizations necessary over time to give out the permissions for those transactions, and then you could essentially remove that transaction from the bypass list. So we've expanded that through the help of one of our large customers. We've expanded that to allow you to now disable the bypass list, and this is done by facility, which is a nice implementation feature. So the audit setting for bypass does essentially what the +A support does, which is cut records, special records, so that you can identify who's authorizing who's leveraging the transaction. And then once you make the decision that, okay, I feel that all my authorizations for transactions are in place, you can then set the bypass control option by facility again to no. So that essentially means that you're not going to be able to leverage any transactions that are in that bypass list going forward. And what is the benefit? This certainly enforces eliminating the use of the bypass list and tightening down security within your system. Okay, the next topic enhancement is the increasing the record size to 1024K. This is essentially done for all ACID types. So not only user but profile, we had introduced the ability to increase the department ACID to 1024 in an earlier release. This expands it out, so now your profiles and users can be increased to 1024. The benefits certainly are it reduces the complexity to maintain these related updates. It also is particularly helpful for customers who are running with the default auth override all over, which essentially involves the searching algorithm order on trying to determine what is the response top secret is going to give for a authorization check. Also, it eliminates or delays the need to add new profiles, right? If you've gone along over time and you have a profile that's coming close to that 250 or that 512, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 512 size currently that you can now delay perhaps indefinitely if that profile's going to reach its historical max size. Also, this allows you to reevaluate your profiles and say, you know, we've got too many profiles, perhaps we can consolidate them where possible. And that really brings us to the next benefit, which is related to that, which is role-based security. Customers today are trending to get to role-based security. Some are already there, some are still traveling the road, and others have yet to start. So what this does is, this particular enhancement allows you to build role-based profiles and cut down and start merging into a limited set of profiles, right, which will make the management of your profiles much easier. Okay, moving on to the restrict UID 0. The UID 0 assignment clearly is a major request out on the IDEA site. We've exempted the MSCA from this limitation, so the MSCA will always be able to do administration for UID 0. The restriction is performed by the CA SecAuth authorization, and all admin types that have ACID maintain authority are eligible for this limitation. And essentially, it deals with add and replace of UID 0, whether or not you're allowed to do that or not. If an ACID already has UID 0, we're not going to restrict that. We're going to allow you to remove it or replace it with a non-zero value. So essentially, this is only the intent of this is to limit who can give UID 0. Benefits certainly further restricts who can assign those authorizations for UID 0, and this ultimately is going to allow you to address some compliance requirements at your site. Okay, moving on, the facility fact store option, which allows you to store the facility parameters on the security file. So we take them out of the PARM file, put them in the security file. There's a control option to do this, and it occurs whenever fact store is set to yes. All of initialization and restart, all of the authorizations in the parameter file for facility definitions are hardened into the security file, and any changes to those entries are automatically stored on the security file, and also are logged to the recovery file, which is very important. The benefits are facility definitions protected from view, no longer in the PARMS file, and it's easier to administer and maintain multiple LPAR complexes. And certainly the size of the PARM file gets dramatically reduced since the facility definitions typically make up the bulk of the parameter file. And this improves the manageability of any changes that you're making to the PARM file. And another benefit is we've added list capabilities for the fact store entries. Okay, AES 256 password encryption. Top Secret support supported prior to R16 128-bit AES encryption for both passwords and passphrases. This required a 16-byte encryption key, and this is important, can be done by a software or hardware. IBM at ZOS 2.1 introduced their version of AES encryption because they had only offered DES up until that point to AES 256 at ZOS 2.1. We built in our AES 256, so we've expanded our 128-bit support for AES to 256. This certainly adds a major benefit to meet a NIST current requirement for storing passwords, in a static format, as well as what we anticipate will be a STIG requirement at some point. I will point out that we do have a solution, R086945, that was published not too soon after R16 went GA, and that solution, if you're going to leverage AES 256, is a solution we recommend you apply. Okay, ZOS 2.2, we talked about this earlier. Certainly the signing certificate was added, as well as the related R password callable services support. I don't think we need to spend much more time on that. Plan. This is one of the top vote getters out on the IDEA site, the ability to execute top secret against the backup file. There's certainly a lot of advantages to that. Overhead, certainly executing C file data with a list ACID data all against a primary security file. There is overhead, and customers have been told to run that during off-peak hours when your busy workloads are not underway. And it certainly eliminates the potential if a C file run is submitted accidentally during prime time hours. We've also eliminated an anomaly when top secret commands are processed during the C file execution and administration is actively being done. So that's been addressed with, or will be addressed with that change. Okay, I'm just going to make note, we are Common Criteria certified. The program just ended the end of January, and we've done all the work we need to do, and the government and our third-party vendor we worked with, Booz Allen, is going to get the final sign-off for the R15 release, and at which point in time we're scheduled to roll in the future with the R16 release. So that's a great thing to know. Okay, so we've run through all of our enhancements, and I know we are kind of squeezing this in a short period of time, but that's the nature of our no-fail Friday calls. I do want to reference, I know this is going to be recorded, so these dates may be in the past by the time you listen to the recording, but we certainly have other things that we are doing as far as these no-fail Friday calls, including what's new in ACF 2, implementing granular security controls in Top Secret, mainframe security user groups on the road, telecast, and selfie contests. So that sounds like that's pretty awesome. It'll be very interesting. Implementing granular security in ACF 2, and also from the trenches of advanced authentication. So we've got some pretty cool other No-Fail Friday topics that are going to be taking place. Okay, it's 10:19. I've done it with 1 minute to spare, and I'll just do a final recap before we go to the Q&A. The 4 gets. If you walk away from this presentation, just think the 4 gets. One is, why should you upgrade to R16? You're going to get level set on maintenance. There's this percentage of customers that we have that are back leveled on maintenance, and at points in time, over the past few years, are reporting a problem or having to identify a published solution that was written, a long period of time ago that were needed for to address the problems that were being experienced. So get level set on maintenance. And, of course, all the enhancements that we talked about from R15 on are certainly installed in the GA R16 release, as well as all the enhancements that we just discussed. And third, get staged for XOS 2.2 exploitation. You may not be exploiting XOS 2.2 now. You may have moved to it, installed it on test systems, and haven't really bothered to check out any of the new security-related features. So you're going to want to get staged for any XOS 2.2 exploitation that you're choosing to do. And number 4 is get positioned for the next release of ZOS. And certainly you're going to want to be at R16 at a minimum, to tolerate that next release. So there's the extent of our question or of our presentation. At this point in time, I think that we're going to go to our questions, and let's see where we're at.
Thank you, Paul. That was a great presentation. So far, we don't have any questions about what you've covered. Let's give everyone a couple minutes to type anything they have to type. So let's just hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I have a poll about this conference that I'd like to invite people to respond to. So I'm going to open that as well. All right, Paul, there is one question from Charlene. We are installing ZOS 2.2. Is R15 okay to use? Okay,
Charlene, it certainly is. There is a toleration support. I believe there was only one PTF that was written, and we can get that the PTF a name for you. But you certainly can bring up XOS 2.2 on R15, but any of the newly introduced XOS 2.2 enhancements would not be available for exploitation. So for the exploitation of any new features, you're going to have to upgrade to R16.
Great, thank you, Paul. So far, that's the only question, but we'll sit tight for another minute or two. Oh, here's another one. I've got a question about FACSTOR yes, for which I also opened an issue. Is it okay for me to ask it here as well? I don't know if you want to answer that kind of question here or not. That's up to you, Paul.
Well, let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. So please ask the question.
And then another question just came in. At some point, will a reformat of the security file be required to move forward with maintenance, although we may not go to AES 256 for some time, similar to V15 VSAM file requirement?
Okay. Well, certainly if you're going to look to exploit AES 256 and you are currently not running AES 128, you will definitely need to reformat, run, maint, and format a new security file with the setting that's required and run an extend. So that will be a requirement. Next question.
Nothing yet. Oh, a follow-up question to that one. Can we get a heads up on that?
Get a heads up as far as the requirement to format a new security file and run extend, or is that the question, the follow-up?
Yes.
It is documented in the installation guide for R16 that will be a requirement. And I think we also have some knowledge documents out there related to that. So I will double check to make sure, but I believe that is in the R16 guide, the installation guide.
Great, thanks, Paul. No other questions at this moment, but we still have 5 minutes, so we'll hang out for a minute. Okay, we have a question from Paul. Is it planned ever to remove the need for the MSCA? Seems a bit of exposure.
I think that in the short term, there is not a plan to remove that. I think that's a great question to pose to get other customer feedback on the community site. Certainly, we've made our efforts to eliminate the need for the MSCA to be required for usage through several CA authorizations that would allow non-MSCA ACIDs to execute the utilities in the past that were once required the MSCA. So our job historically over time has been to the MSCA is that install ID, right, when you're installing the product initially. We've essentially are trying to eliminate the requirement to use the MSCA, but there has not been a discussion on removing it from the product. Any further questions?
I think, yes, I think someone's going to unmute themselves to ask a more involved question.
Okay.
Go ahead, Erdem. You just have to hit #6. All right. Well, if Erdem can get himself off of mute, maybe you can just take it to the community later today, and just post it in there. And I'm sure we can get Paul to follow up and answer it as best he can.
Yeah, I will say this: if anybody has any questions regarding the presentation today, paul.orchet, R-A-U-C-H-E-T, @ca.com. You can email me your question today, or if you want to have a conversation, just email me and we can set up a time to have a call.
Great. Thanks, Paul. And I should also mention that, that later today we'll also publish the replay of this session out in the community as well. I don't see any new questions coming in. I guess we're only 2 minutes short of our time, so maybe we'll just hang out for 2 minutes and see if any other questions come in. All right, Paul. I don't see any other questions coming in, so I think we can go ahead and wrap up. Thank you very much, and to everyone who joined us this morning, thank you very much. Like I said, I will post the replay later today, and have a great Friday, everybody.
Thank you.